Because you were off filling your need.
Like, honestly, that there's a huge part of me that's good, that's just...
Well, I appreciate that.
That's, yeah. That not being there when you needed me would hurt me deeply.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to act like I'm not going to get hard in the meantime, because that's foolish of me. And I'm just being silly.
Yeah. To deny that is, yeah.
That's what 20-year-olds do. 20-year-olds get really, oh, never leave you. Then they turn 28 and they go, I'm bored.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Nadia.
And it's me, Coach T.
And we are two average people.
Yes, we are.
We have another Q&A for you today.
Mm-hmm.
And we are going to get into some topics.
Topics.
That was my little topic stance.
I like the topic stance.
All right, babe, so you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. First one.
All right.
Is divorce ever an option for you? Why or why not?
You know, we grew up super religious in the church or whatever, and, you know, the church always preaches that, you know, divorce is just, it's not good. But I've always believed that divorce needs to be an option. Like, without it, you're leaving a lot of people subject to a lot of traumatic events. Because can you imagine what it's like to be in a relationship or to be the children of people in a relationship who don't like each other and who have stopped trying and who have no inclination to begin trying again? It is horrible. So to me, you need to be able to say, you know what? Thanks. Should it be a last resort? Sure, it absolutely should. Is it a last resort these days? Absolutely not. Is it a problem in especially our community? Absolutely 100%. It is.
Yeah.
But it needs to be an option so that people can have the opportunity, not just people, women specifically, can have the option to escape a bad situation if they need to. There definitely had to be some sort of escape mechanism from her just spending the rest of her life with just a guy who has no interest in her happiness or his own.
Yeah.
Like that's no one should be subjected to that just because.
I agree. I think it definitely should be the last option. If you get in a place where you're unhappy in your marriage or in your relationship, you really need to fight for your relationship.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's some basic things that you need to be able to fight for your relationship. That's right? And so it's like, you know, if you're going to war, you know, you can't just go with your body. You know, you need weapons, you need gear, you need things. And so a lot of the times when I'm talking to my friends, I'll say, okay, do you want this? Do you know, if sex is the topic, do you still enjoy having sex with your man? Do you still want to have sex? Because I can't now go tell you, make sure you have sex 3 to 4 times a week, and you don't even want to have sex with him. Like, that's going to be very hard. And so now we have to go a little deeper. Okay, if you don't want to have, why is it? Is it, you know, and the answers vary. But the point is, divorce, I think, is an option. I would hope that you're in a position where you both can really, really fight and try to salvage the relationship. But sometimes you get to the point where you have one life. It's not worth your happiness. I'm not going to tell you to stay in a marriage that you're unhappy with for the rest of your life because somebody told you to.
No.
To me, that doesn't make any sense.
No.
Because you're going to just be unhappy for the rest of your life.
You're condemned to that.
Why would you want that?
If you take that option to fix that problem away from people, what type of stuff... You leave people with no other option.
Right.
What's a caged or cornered animal going to do?
Right.
They're going to attack.
Exactly.
So now you're just setting people up for really, really bad home situations.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Divorce is absolutely
definitely
an option. It needs to be.
I agree.
So that things can end peacefully and stay there.
Exactly. Yeah. Do you feel both partners should contribute equally to the household bills? Why or why not? All right. So... contribute equally. I guess it depends on how you're hearing the question. Equally could mean, okay, you're putting in $1,500 a month and I'm putting in $1,500 a month, regardless of what we make, right? equally for some people can be like, okay, well, you make this much more than me. So that means you put in 60% and I put in 40, and it's equal based on what we're making.
It's equitable.
Right. Equitable.
So it's equal. Great. And then it's equitable.
Right. So to answer the question, I don't think there's one standard for any relationship. I definitely think you both should be contributing equally to the household. I have friends who one person pays the mortgage, the other person pays all the other bills, and that works out to be about the same, right? There's other people that they put in the exact same amount to cover the household bills altogether. So you put in this, you put in that, and that covers our mortgage, gas, light, bill, water, whatever it needs to be. So I do think that if there is resentment in that relationship, if both people aren't putting in equally, that could really, really make things worse. I definitely think there needs to be noticeable contributions from both parties. Whether they need to be equal in terms of amount, percentage, that's going to be based on your relationship and how you guys divide up your money. But I definitely think there needs to be equal contribution, because sometimes in the relationships where, and we've experienced this, where someone's working full time and the other one is in between jobs, it puts a real strain on the relationship, because obviously one person isn't contributing financially, and they would if they could, but they're not. So you got to hold up the weight, and it can get a little sticky. Or I know people who one of them makes significantly more than the other, but they're still putting in equally, and so that can cause tension. It's like, but you make so much more than me. Why am I putting in the same amount if you make twice what I make? Like that. So I don't know. Money. I'm talking about. If we're talking about money, it can get a little tricky. What do you think, babe?
I think before you can jump into the conversation of whether two people should contribute equally to a home, you have to have the conversation of how you all think about money on the whole.
100%.
That makes sense?
100%.
So you got to be able to say, I think about money like this, and your partner, your significant other, should be able to say something at least parallel to what you're thinking. Even if there's a degree of distance, you all are at least in the same direction.
Right.
But if you going this way and they're going that way, y'all have to find that cross section and stay right there.
Yeah.
That cross section may be, I put in 1,500, you put in 1,500.
Right.
And then we leave it alone. But that might be cool for you.
Yeah.
Because if you're both making good money, then it really wouldn't need to be anything more than that.
Right.
So there's circumstances that go into it. There's personal preferences that go into it. There's a lot of things that go into it. But if you're not on the same page, meaning I know what you think about money, you know what I think about money, you know how I'm going to move with it, I know how you're going to move with it, until we get there, splitting bills in the house is just going to be another chaos point.
All right, last question, y'all. Your significant other develops a serious illness and can no longer perform certain conjugal duties. She gives you a free pass to get sex elsewhere. Would you use it? Why or why not? Ooh, now we getting into some interesting stuff, y'all. All right, babe, what you think?
Yeah,
I think I know what you think.
Yeah.
Yeah, what? Yeah, what?
Yeah, I'd probably use it.
You use it?
I'd probably use it.
Why?
Well, the truth of the matter is, for me, I have a connection with you. So that's the part for me that's important. And I don't necessarily equate sex and love. Those things are different for me. And because they're different, I could view sex as easily as I view a massage. Go to massage and get a massage, or go to Shorty house and get sex. So it's really not that deep, that far apart for me. It's also not the part I'm focused on.
So me being in a place where I am sick, I have an illness, doesn't trump that need.
That need can't be turned off.
No matter what.
That's not how we're built.
Okay.
So because it can't be turned off, it's not something that I can just say, well, for the next 6 months, that's just power down, and Let's just focus. That's not how that works.
Okay.
And the point is, the more it's in the way is the more it's in the way. And the more it's in the way is just the more it piles up, and then you're trying to keep your head above water. After a while, you can hardly think straight.
So these, like me being sick, can suppress.
Yes, it definitely was suppress.
But it won't make it go away.
And I'm going
that need go away.
And for the sake of time, I just answered the question quickly. But the truth of the matter is, even if you gave me that kind of permission for, in our relationship, that's not a move that I would jump on readily.
Okay.
It would be a super duper last resort thing, because personally, I wouldn't want to be the person who, when you needed me, I wasn't there.
Because you were off filling your need.
Like, honestly, that there's a huge part of me that's good. That's just.
Well, I appreciate that.
That's that not being there when you needed me would hurt me deeply.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna act like I'm not gonna get hard in the meantime, because that's foolish of me, and I'm just being silly.
Yeah. To deny that is. Yeah.
That's what 20-year-olds do. 20-year-olds get really, I would never leave you. Then they turn 28 and they go, I'm bored. And then they do something stupid, and then they go, I don't know what came over me. Yeah, that's exactly right. You don't know what came over you. You had zero self-control and zero knowledge about yourself to make an informed decision.
Well, you're 20, so yeah, you don't.
Of course.
Right.
I am not 20.
Yeah. I think for me, I don't know that I would take it.
Yeah.
Only because I'm built a little differently. So I'm more emotionally based, not physical as you are.
I'm physical.
And so for me, all I would be able to think about would be, keeping things normal for London, taking care of you. And so I don't know that I would take it, just because I wouldn't need, I wouldn't eventually, maybe, but you're talking like
a while
years out before I'm like, because unlike you guys, we can some of us, everybody's not the same, so I'm not going to speak for all women, but unlike you, I can suppress it. If something else is going on that's causing a big emotional tug, I don't need to think about it. Like, I don't need that. I'm okay.
Right.
Not because I don't want it or that I don't desire you in that way, but I'm over here. I'm trying to take care of you. I'm trying to keep things normal for London. Or whatever that, trying to juggle family members, whatever that may be. God forbid any of this happens. It wouldn't be the first thing, second, maybe even fifth thing on my mind at that point.
That's true, but I'm gonna propose something to you that I want you to really consider, and less for you to consider, but more for just the overall conversation to be considered, right? Self-care is still self-care. Mm-hmm. And for some people, sexual activity is a part of self-care.
Absolutely. Right? 100%.
And even with you and I, when we aren't sexually active the way we want to be sexually active, we feel that disconnect.
Absolutely.
Like, we can go, you feel it too? Yeah, I feel it too.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
But we are in our 100% well-being
that part.
Self.
That part.
That's when you change.
When you change that dynamic.
Then the needs and the wants, for me specifically, become different. I understand that need for you doesn't change, no matter what's going on.
Well, see,
but
here's my point, though. Yes, the needs do become different, but does that leave you susceptible for something like that to happen? Here's what I mean. As a woman, and as Nadia, you have never pursued a man.
No.
So you really don't know what it's like to have to...
They've all pursued me. I'm kidding, y'all.
I mean, it's true. So you really don't know what it's like to have to go get a thing like in this world, right?
No.
Right. Okay. So what's stopping you from being more susceptible in this scenario that we're talking about to being pursued? Because if you are caretaking for a long time, that is you giving of yourself to someone else without getting your own cup refilled for a long time. Now, sex might not be on your mind, but if the right scenario comes along with the right person saying the right things, are you more susceptible?
No. Now, if you guys know me, I don't put things past anyone.
Facts.
So I'm not going to say it can never happen. But my commitment is to you. Okay, so at that point, would I be more susceptible? I don't think so. Maybe more emotional. But being emotional, I find, especially in that context, would actually have me put up more guards and more doors. Because you, my partner, my best friend, wouldn't be there with me the way that I would want you. And so I'm now extra defensive and extra guarded just in general because I'm in this emotional state, 1. 2, I don't have that bodyguard to, watch my back. So I feel like my defenses with everything that is going on would actually be higher. And so I'd be less susceptible to even trying to...
that makes sense.
For me personally, that may be different for somebody else, but at least that's what I think.
It reminds me of that scene in Waiting to Exhale, I think it is, with the guy who met Angela Bassett's character at the bar, and then they spent the night together, but they didn't sleep together.
Oh, right.
Right?
Right.
And then he wrote her a letter a few later, just kind of explaining the whole thing. And
Angela Bassett, Whitney Houston? Angela Bassett?
Yeah, that was Angela Bassett's character, right?
Was she in Waiting to Exhale?
Is it Waiting to Exhale?
Or are you talking about how Stella got her groove back?
No, Waiting to Exhale when...
It's been a while since I've seen the movie, y'all.
Yeah.
Anyway, either way.
One of those movies. The point is, they were at the bar, and they ended up going back to the hotel, and it was getting hot and heavy, but he was, his wife is home with cancer. And was dying from cancer.
That's Whitney Houston.
Was it Whitney?
Yeah.
It was Whitney. It was Whitney. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. It was Whitney. My bad.
That's not the point.
My bad. But the point is, but you're right. It's that same scenario.
Right.
He didn't want to disrespect his marriage. He loved his wife. But you could see the man in him and the person that he was doing this. Mm-hmm. And that's what I mean when I say... That's a really good example, babe. That's what I mean when I say it can get in the way.
Yeah.
He had no business in that woman's room, and he knew it.
Yeah.
But at some point, he didn't care.
Right.
And that made him feel disgusting.
Right.
You feel me? Because at that point now, he's like, oh, I'm doing exactly what I don't want to do.
Right.
But there's a part of me that's okay with it.
Yeah, because it's been so long.
Because he just is seeking a connection.
Yeah.
He's seeking a connection.
Yeah.
And so... I come back and I say, well, you never know what you'll feel in those types of moments, but I'll say this. That moment as a man resonated with me because it was like just because you feel it doesn't mean you have to go all the way.
Right.
But it does mean that as a man, you need to be aware that this is possible.
Yeah.
So that you can move about the cabin properly.
Absolutely.
And I think not just as a man, but as a person.
Absolutely.
I think as a person,
yeah,
the same scenario counts.
Yeah.
And you got to be aware that you could end up feeling these feelings. And if you do, what you would want done to you is probably what you then should do.
Right. All right, y'all. That's it for this Q&A episode. Catch us on the next one, and we will catch up with you guys later. Remember, marriage is a choice. It's not easy, but it's always worth it.